Welcome to the Red Half of Sheffield preview pod. Back in the studio to record another preview, this time at the hands of Oxford United. Sheff United, this is a midweek fixture, Tuesday night, I believe, which is, for some reason, the EFL has scheduled, 3 games in the span of a week for Sheff United. The 2-2 draw against Cove yesterday at time of recording. Saturday, the Oxford game on Tuesday, and then a top-of-the-table clash against Sunderland come Friday night. So, thick and fast they come. Today, I am joined to preview Oxford United v. Sheff United. Simon, how are you this early afternoon?
Not too bad at all, considering how the result went yesterday for us.
Well, get into it. How did the result go? Tell the listeners and viewers.
Well, we got beat 6-2 by Middlesbrough, but it was, funnily, looking on social media this morning and sort of the feeling around the ground after the game yesterday wasn't too despondent, considering we got well and truly tonked. But Middlesbrough were just too clinical, and that was the real difference. We didn't play too badly, but I think a result like that, was eventually going to happen. And it's only the second time this season we've been beaten by more than 2 goals. And, Sunderland beat us 2-0 at their place. Other than that, it's been single goal margins in all the games. So, it wasn't horrific. Could have been better, but obviously Middlesbrough are a decent side. But it's not going to get any easier on Tuesday night.
Yeah. So your thoughts coming into the beginning of the through the beginning of the season, how do you think Oxford have got on? Because honestly, probably surprised a lot of talking hairdos in pundits that cover the EFL. Most of them had Oxford in and around the bottom, and you guys are, in a sense, exceeding expectations. Your thoughts on the beginning of the season?
The first, I think we won 3 of the first 5, the 3 home games in that first 5. And the home form has kept us sort of there or thereabouts in terms of not being in the relegation spots so far. And we've gone off the boil a little bit. Injuries have not helped, and playing some of the better sides, and so we got a little bit lucky maybe with some of the fixtures early on with teams that got rid of managers or were about to, and it helped us a little bit. But no, I mean, I think the aim this season is to stay in the division. If we can avoid relegation this season, I think everyone will be happy. We are the little club in this division, this season, and we will be, rightly or wrongly, most pundits tip for one of the relegation spots. But if we can keep picking up points at home and try and get the occasional one away from home as well, I think we're not in the relegation spots, and we're just about to go into December. So it's I think we're where most of us expected to be. We perhaps exceeded it right at the start of the season with those 3 early wins, and it's kind of fallen off a little bit since then. But
yeah, and it's one of those things, because you see like Portsmouth are struggling down the bottom, and they did decent in League One to get promoted, and then you guys went through via the playoffs, and everybody was like, well, Oxford have got to overhaul the entire squad. They're not going to be the same. They're not going to have the budget to compete. And that's what I like about this division is you start the season and no one gives you a snowball's chance in hell. And then you exceed expectations, and then, okay, well, we still don't believe it. And you're like, well, what do you have to do? So I like what Oxford are doing in this league, because it's something that, obviously the likes of Ipswich last season coming up and barnstorming the whole division and going automatic promotions, you're not going to see that very often. But the fact that you guys can come in I've summed this up to everybody we've talked about the blend line. It's kind of like oil and water separating. And, there's a, hey, we've recently been in the Premier League, so we have parachute payments. And then there's kind of we've been here, a.k.a. Preston and Bristol City, for 10 years in this division. And then there's the rest of them. And so I think the gap from League One to the bottom of the championship isn't as big as some people say it is. And you're the perfect example where everybody thought you were going to come in and get battered week in and week out, and you're not. As you said, yesterday was the only time you haven't, conceded more than 2 goals, which is pretty impressive for a League One side less than a year ago. So what are your honest expectations come the full-time whistle? Do you think you can get a top half finish? I mean, playoffs probably too far of a stretch, obviously, but final whistle on the final day of the season, where do you think Oxford finish?
I hope and I think we can finish outside the relegation spot, anywhere outside the relegation spots, and I think most fans would take that as a chance to continue to build. We've got sort of stadium issues at the moment. We're looking to move and build a new stadium because we don't own the ground we're in at the moment, and that's hampered us over time, and it hampers us with the budget as well because of match day revenues and stuff. We have got the smallest budget probably in the division, and it's interesting you talk about squad overhauls. I would say if we had everybody fit in the squad, there's probably 6 players that who started, who were in the squad last season. We have brought in a lot of players, but we've kept quite a core of players that were instrumental to us getting up and through the playoffs. So I think we still need to add a little bit of quality and a little bit of depth because we've struggled with the injuries we've had. But yeah, if like that final whistle on the final game of the season, as long as we're not in the bottom 3, then it's job done.
Yeah, it's very true. I hope you guys are able to stave off relegation. I mean, honestly, this is a division that I love every team in it. I mean, because I'm a football fan first before I'm a Sheffield United fan, and I love how competitive this division is. Yeah, you got Leeds and Burnley and teams like that probably don't need to be in this division, but the fact that we're Sheffield United are in this division, I absolutely love it, and I just love how competitive. Because right now, midweek, we'll get to it now. Midweek, under the lights of Bramall Lane, how do you think Oxford come into this, and how do you guys have a chance? Do you feel optimistic about coming away with a draw or even 3 points?
I'm always glass half full. That's my, I'm very much in a positive mindset. I just hope we see a reaction from Saturday and that defeat, and I think we will. The squad is good enough to put up a performance. I'm not. I think expecting or hoping for a win is a bit too much. If we can, take it into the last 10 minutes, still in the game, and not be out of sight, getting beat 4, 5, 6-0, whatever it might be. If we can, stay in, and we've managed to do that. Like I say, apart from 2 games this season, we've been there or thereabouts. We've been 1 goal in it. So we've always, and I think games. Thinking back, might have been Burnley, certainly West Brom. We scored an equaliser in added time. And if you can stay in the game, then you've always got a chance. A set piece or a bit of luck or a mistake, whatever it might be. I think if we get a draw, we'd go home really happy. I think a win, and I'm just looking at the last time we won, and it was like 1999 was the last time we beat Sheffield United. So it's going to be tough. Not that we've played that often, but equally, it's the place will be rocking. Obviously, the start and the way that Sheffield United are going at the moment, they've had a great start to the season, and we know what Chris Wilder's like. He was manager for us for a number of years, got us out of non-league, and we're aware of how Chris Wilder plays. It'll be physical, but equally, he's a tactician as well, and the Sheffield United under him have played some decent football.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. This is a lot of fixture congestion for this league, and to come straight off the back of an international break, it's like, here you go. You've had a week off. We're just going to kick you square in the balls. I think this one 1-0, maybe. I can also see, like, in my head right now, it's saying this game's going to be the most boringest of 0-0s.
I'd take
that. I don't honestly think. I mean, I kind of want to shade us 1-0. It's just, I don't know if eyes are going to be looking ahead to the top of the table clash again for Sunderland Friday night. I don't know if United are going to be looking past Oxford, being like, oh, this should be an easy 3 points in the bag, and then they leave it late, and, Oxford sneak one at the end of the game, and bang, there he is. You miss out on all 3 points. But, yeah, it's certainly interesting. I'll go with a 1-0 United win, and that's odd because I don't predict many Sheffield United wins on these preview pods. But, yeah, certainly an interesting how it sets up, because now we're going to get into almost the holiday period where it feels like you got a game every 3 days, every Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, from basically here on out for the rest of the year, it feels like, or the calendar year. Simon, will you be making the trip to beautiful downtown Bramall Lane?
I will indeed, yeah, making the journey up on Tuesday, taking the day off work and getting up there nice and early. It's my other half, my wife is a Sheffield Wednesday fan, so she'll be. I know she's local to Sheffield, so I've made the trip to Bramall Lane on a couple of occasions. I think we League One game and an FA Cup game a few years back as well, where we played up there. So no, looking forward to it. It's obviously historic ground. It'll be fairly full, I would imagine. It's going to be a long journey up, and if we don't get the result we want, it'll be an even longer journey back. But no, looking forward to it. And I think we've sold a decent number. We've been well followed this season in the Championship. First time we've been back for years and years. So I think a lot of people are taking the opportunity to visit grounds we've not been to very much recently. So yeah, it'll be a good following, and we'll see how it goes.
Good deal. One more before we get out of here. I ask every opposition view that comes on the preview pod. Match day, what is your go-to beverage? It doesn't have to be alcohol. It could be tea. It could be whatever your mind's greatest creation is.
Well, when Sheffield United come down to the Kassam Stadium, the coffees are pretty good. Although they're only kiosk and kind of pod coffees or whatever they are, the mochas are very good. Myself, I do like an IPA, but I'll be driving, so I might have to restrict myself to just the one before the game. So I'm sure we'll find a pub nearby.
Good deal, Simon. Before we get out of here, tell people where they can find the pod at.
We're at the Fence End podcast.
Good deal. Follow them on Twitter /X or whatever the hell it's called now. And if you haven't done so, see Jarvis _13, Red Sheffield on Twitter X. I think it's Red Sheffield on Blue Sky, but I'm not on there, so I don't know. Facebook, YouTube, Red Sheffield, Red Hat of Sheffield. And until back for another preview pod, I will leave you with Up the Blade.